to address the censorship question in terms of something like if something is pornography or whether it's actual art, is to have the conversation about it. I mean, you do that in the real world, the non-virtual world, right? I mean, you'll have people who present something and say it's art, and somebody else says that it's not art, that it's pornography, and then you talk about that. You talk about it quietly, or you talk about it heatedly. There are discussions about it. There's public discussion about it. There's organizations who deal with it. There are people who are authorities. If you don't like the decision they make, you appeal it. I mean, that's society. That's civilization, right? And I think that that's how you should deal with stuff like that. And as far as just like you don't people. I think there's never going to be a paucity of pornography in the world. It's just one of those things. You know, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like it's ever since the first cave person figured out how to, you know, I probably just take a piece of charcoal and like scribble something on the wall. You've had pornography. That was like basically the beginning of pornography. And before that, they were probably like drawing stuff in the sand. I mean, you're never going to get rid of pornography. You know, you don't have to worry that it's not going to, you know, there's somehow poor pornography is going to die out. Like some, like, you know, like it's not an endangered species for sure, right? But I think in terms of like just the discussions of, well, what is pornography and what is literature, you know, what is pornography and other types of art, I think it is much better to have rules about where pornography can be and where it can't be, and then have other types of discussions about what it is and what it isn't, because those are the types of things that actually advance intellectual development. They're difficult questions, they're difficult issues. Sex affects people's lives on lots of levels, as does, you know, art and literature actually. So I think that's the way to approach that, and I really think it's time for legislators to stop just turning a blind eye to the entire question and thereby and say, oh yeah, free speech, and also they do this because they don't even want to be someone who talks about the fact that people actually do, the fact that pornography is a sort of right. Although I think some of the extreme stuff is really maybe should be dealt with in terms of like whether or not you actually allow it, like things that are, you know, really degrading, really abusive, that kind of thing. I find that's pretty questionable. But I think legislators have taken the easy way out, and have allowed a lot of bad things to happen, because and use the idea of not wanting to censor people as an excuse to also not associate themselves with, you know, pornography and how bad it really can be, especially, you know, in certain types of venues.